So I'm Johnny.
And I'm Kaylin.
And we're from Hangtime Horror.
Sorry if we look a mess, we've literally just come back from Chessington World of Adventures. And
literally within the last hour.
Yeah, give or take. So, yeah.
After 2 years of waiting, the world of Jumanji is finally open in Chessington. And let's just say...
more on that later. But first we want to get into the smaller updates around the park and our overall experience for the first 2 days.
Which I gotta say, was pretty positive. We'll get into what we liked and disliked about our time at Chessington. Keeping in mind this is only the second time that we've been there.
Yes, so the first time was actually on our honeymoon, so yeah.
And we spent 2 days there, didn't we?
Yeah, 2 days.
And we needed to enjoy the park. They've got so much to offer. They've got the zoo, and then they've got the rides, obviously, and the new section open of Jumanji.
It's definitely a 2-day park.
Oh, definitely. Especially if it was busy. But luckily it wasn't too busy there, even for an opening of a whole land, basically, isn't it? But we'll go on to a negative first, as we just said. Dragon's Fury, which is, I think, one of your
my favourite spinning coaster that we've been on anyway.
Yeah.
So, it was really good to get back on it. I mean, you know, the last time we went on it was on our honeymoon and I screamed the whole way through, so...
And then actually you screamed through it this time as well.
Yes.
It's such a fun ride, it is. If you're not into spinny rides, maybe it's not for you, but I think initially we really enjoyed it and we still do enjoy it.
Yeah, but it was a shame that it didn't open until 3:30 though. So,
yeah, around 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that was on our first day. It was a little bit...
It was open most of the day, I think the second day.
Yeah, but...
It had a lot of downtime.
Yeah, lots of downtime. It just needs a little bit more TLC, I think.
Definitely, especially with it being across from Jumanji as well.
So it does make it look a little bit...
outdated.
So we went to Wild Asia, so there was no fountains or monkey swinger, unfortunately, because the last time we went there, you got a cold.
I got absolutely soaking wet. I didn't just get hit once, I didn't just get hit twice. I got hit 3 times.
And soaked right through as well.
Yeah. So it was brilliant to get back on there, but I was missing that aspect of the fountains, which makes it different to any other of those monkey swingers that you usually get.
Yeah.
Then we went on to Cobra.
Just your average Zamperla disco. I mean, you know, it's fun, it's family friendly, but it's not my favourite Zamperla disco. I mean, I did like Edge in Potton's Park, and obviously I like Thor from Drayton's Manor as well, so...
Yeah, definitely. And I've got to agree with that. Edge, I don't know, just feels a little bit more...
Has that edge.
Has the edge, yeah, it does. But out of the Zamperla discos, it's well themed. But unfortunately around the area itself, around Wild Asia, I think it needs a bit more updating, and hopefully they'll do that in the future. And let's just say they could knock one part of it down and put a new coaster or something there. That would be good. Just
anything for a new coaster.
Anything for a new cred.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went on to Tiger Rock, which, you know, I love water rides. You, not so much as me.
No, but the main reason why I go on Tiger Rock is obviously the tigers. I mean, the fact that you go through like a tiger enclosure and you can see them on the little bridge above you, that is just so cool and such a unique element.
Something that I think they should keep, but maybe have a re-theme or something around it, because it is looking a little bit weathered. Don't get me wrong, the water was still fresh and clean, but it doesn't get you wet enough, and it doesn't have much of a lead up, doesn't have music that kind of gets me going.
I don't mind. I mean, we ended up getting a little bit of a sprinkling, but I did see people come off absolutely drenched.
Might have just been us two though.
Yeah. Well, speaking about animals, we did end up going on Safari. It is obviously catered to us and any other kind of animal lovers. It was absolutely boiling. So we could actually see the giraffes this time.
Yeah, and they came quite close.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. It's a different sort of ride, isn't it? Where it gives you that experience. You said this, didn't you?
Yeah,
of an
African safari. It kind of, you know, takes you through the different landscapes. You know, they must have had them potholes for like a purpose. Because you're just jumping up and down.
Thank God they got those lap bars.
Yeah.
I'd be out to that. But there are some negatives, I guess, to it, which is that it's way too short.
Yes.
It would benefit from having a longer ride cycle.
Yeah, and maybe a few show scenes as well, just to add that kind of like Disney-esque, higher...
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, that vibe. But we actually had the cave working, so that was quite cool to see this time round.
With the noise, the music, everything was working on that point. and I've never seen it actually work in person. When we first ever did it, it just didn't work.
Yeah, we just drove straight through, I think.
Yeah, just drove straight through, but this time they closed the door and there was that little show sequence, I guess. But the ride would benefit from more stuff like that.
Because we're such animal lovers, we spent most of our second day at Chessington exploring the zoo. Unfortunately, sea life wasn't open, but yeah, we spent ages looking at the gorillas. I mean, I think it was like upwards of 40 minutes or something like that.
So interesting.
Oh, they're so interesting. And the baby gorilla, oh my goodness, my heart just died from cuteness.
And I think just the zoo part itself is well kept. They've got a massive range of animals. They've got the petting zoo, which you can see sheep and donkeys, and that's great for children.
Yeah. And they had those like unusual pigs. They were like a mix between sheep and pig.
Turkish pigs, did you say?
I can't remember, but apparently they're quite rare, and those were like bizarre. But you could tell that they were very happy, very well looked after. I mean, their little wagging tails just made my day. So yeah.
But overall, I think the zoo experience. I think we spent maybe 2.5, 3 hours around the zoo. Just the zoo alone. I mean, that's what makes this park a 2-day park.
Yeah.
And it makes it very interesting. It gets you away from the rides and everything else to a more relaxed day, which we had on the second day.
They've also got animal talk shows as well. So the keepers will bring out skunks, they might bring out the owls and do kind of a demonstration with them. Unfortunately we didn't see that time round, but we did check in to see the raccoon show as well.
Yeah, because I've never seen a raccoon.
No, the little trash pandas. So yeah, we had to go see them, and it was really informative. And when we were in the Chessington petting zoo as well, a few of the keepers came up to us, told us a little bit of facts about the animals, their names.
Even went into the lorikeet section as well.
Yeah, so we fed the lorikeets.
Having those sort of, I feel like the zookeepers there are very informative. They talk a lot to you about their names, what they like, what they dislike, all these different animals. And I think it's just a brilliant section of the park, which I think not a lot of people actually walk through, because when we were walking through it, I feel like we were by ourselves for most of the time.
I didn't realise how big it was.
Yeah, as I said, 2.5, 3 hours.
I mean, I think we walked through a little bit of the section before, but not the whole of the zoo. So
we took our time out just to enjoy it. You're a wanker. So not only that, they do have some experiences which you do have to pre-book. They're actually quite cheap, they're quite manageable. There are obviously higher tier ones, which is the off-roading safari that you can do, and there's the afternoon tea you can do in the hotel. But overall, there's other animal experiences. One that we particularly enjoyed when we last went to Chessington, and I think Kaylin will tell you about that now.
So we did the red fox feeding encounter, and my goodness, Red and Rue, the two resident foxes, were absolutely to die for. I had so many lovely photos with both of us. Red was on my shoulders, and we ended up hand feeding them, and I just wanted to spend all day there. So yeah, highly recommend. If
you ever get a chance of actually doing the animal experiences, I know sometimes they could be like upwards of like an hour sometimes, the experiences, which I think is great for the money that you pay for it for. But if you get a chance and you don't mind taking out some of your day to do these experiences, you won't regret it.
Yeah, highly recommend. And to be honest, it makes a difference for me feeding the foxes at home, just outside my window. I don't think I've ever had a fox on my back before, but I'm glad I have.
And just to prove that there's so much to do in Chessington, they have so many play areas throughout the park, which are really fun. They're well themed. Some of them are in the middle of actual enclosures. There's one just above the monkey enclosure, which gives a lot of interactivity between the animals and the other parts of the park. You know, even Kaylin had to do it for scientific purposes, just to show how these play areas work.
Yeah, however, not all animals are the kindest. I mean, when we were exploring the Transylvania area of the park, someone got stung by a wasp on the lift hill of Vampire.
I'm a bit embarrassed about it, but you know.
But like an absolute boss, he grabbed it and threw it off the lift hill, and he lives to tell the tale.
Yeah, and one of my greatest fears is actually wasps and things that sting. but actually it wasn't too bad, thank God. But it was a hell of a shock. I could feel this buzzing by my ear, and I was like, straight off, like, get it off. But then that made me not enjoy Vampire as much as I maybe should have.
Johnny actually got a bite from the vampire on Vampire.
Not really, I got stung by a wasp.
Typical hang time horror fashion.
And talking about Vampire, you know, a lot of people are nostalgic about that ride, I think, and I think it's not as good as people make it out to be.
Yeah, it does need a little bit of TLC as to everything else in the park, because 5 out of all the rows were unavailable.
Yeah.
I mean, only 4 rows were rideable, which is, it's not good luck.
But then you do like the station building and the queue line.
And the animatronic, it just, I love it anyway.
Yeah. It's a great theme, and I think something needs to be done about it. Those trains need changing possibly. Maybe make them lap bars instead of over the shoulders, because I found myself hitting my head quite a lot, maybe because of the profiling of the track. But overall, I didn't really enjoy Vampire.
I don't mind it as much, to be honest. I'm probably the ones that feel a little bit more nostalgic compared to you. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but I can see your points.
Yeah.
So another oldie but goldie was Tomb Blaster. So I absolutely smashed you.
Yeah, you did.
Absolutely smashed you.
For like 3/4 of the ride, I think I was beating you. Then all of a sudden, I think I got distracted by some of the biggest set pieces that they've got in there. Because it is a really enjoyable ride, actually.
Yeah, it is. Again, looking a little bit more run down, but I think we were living off such a hype from Jumanji. I think we just wanted to go, you know, exploring in some ancient tombs, just channel out in a Lara Croft or whatever.
Yeah, and it has a horror vibe to it, that ride does. So much so that there was a kid screaming, crying behind us. I think because it does have a scary undertone to it. But all in all, I think it's quite a fun ride. And that area with next to Croc Drop as well.
Yeah.
So we did have a ride on Croc Drop.
So Croc Drop, surprisingly forceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the first time we went on it wasn't as forceful.
No. So, and to be honest, I just love the theming. It just takes me back to kind of like an Egypt vibe.
Yeah.
You know, the hieroglyphics and
It's just an impressive part of the park, I would say. With that massive open crocodile mouth and stuff like that. And there's photo opportunities throughout the park as well as Croc Drop, which is great if you want to put stuff on Insta or on Facebook or something with the family. So overall, it's just a brilliant family park with all these family rides.
Yes, but speaking of family rides, Scorpion Express was closed still, which is unfortunate. I mean, perfect family coaster, you know, little bit of fire effects and things like that. You know, scorpions have overtaken this like Texan kind of town.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least now we've got Mandarin Mayhem and things.
Yeah, to kind of take away from that, isn't it? So I think having a new section and a new coaster as well will take people away from certain sections, which is good. It'll bring the queues down. But one roller coaster that did have a long queue when we went there for our honeymoon was Rattlesnake.
Yes, Rattlesnake.
Unfortunately, the operations on there isn't great, and it's just a coaster I think has outlived its time.
But I am absolutely scared of Crazy Mouse roller coasters. I hate the feeling of I'm gonna fall out. That is one kind of profile I can't get around. I honestly,
And that ride just makes you feel like you're gonna break your ribs.
Yeah, battered, bruised, just all of the above.
It's just terrible restraints and a layout that's just throws you about.
But still fun.
Still fun, but it's just, not the greatest, I think. It needs a bit of TLC again.
Yeah.
But as everything in Merlin, I think it does need a bit of TLC.
Just every single Merlin park needs TLC. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the world of Jumanji.
3, 2, 1, Jumanji!
Brand new for 2023, we have 3 brand new rides.
We got 2 flat rides, Ostrich Stampede and Mamba Strike.
And then we have Mandrill Mayhem.
Yep, we can't forget about that one.
No.
No, that's the main part of going to this part of the park, I think. So what did you think about Ostrich Stampede?
It's a bit, bit average, some bouncy elements, but all in all a good ride. I think the cycle's a bit too short though.
Way too short. It does have some forces to it though.
Yeah.
I think it should have gone forwards and backwards, but it only goes one way.
Yeah.
So it
Nice
would have
little
been...
pops of airtime.
Oh, pops of air time, especially when you raise your legs.
Yeah.
And then we have Mamba Strike, which is a Miami ride, which is your run-of-the-mill Miami.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it did have a lot of downtime.
Yes, it did. So we got kicked out of the line one time, didn't we?
Yeah. And usually when something goes down, we stay in the line anyway. We just, once we join the queue, that's it. We want to go on it. But they're two complementary rides to the bigger ride and spreads some of the people around that may have gone on Mandrill Mayhem. So Mandrill Mayhem is a B&M shuttle wing coaster. So first of its kind in the world.
And it has an inversion, which is great as well. And it's 1.2 meters, so
you can bring, 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds onto that ride if they're tall enough.
And it's a chance for their first ever inversion.
Which I think is brilliant, because when you first initially think, a family thrill coaster, you think maybe 13, something a little bit tamer, but there were some pops of airtime, hang time.
Each launch really packed a punch too.
Yeah, there was like 4 times I think we had a launch on
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
It exceeded my expectations. It was something that was really forceful.
And each ride that we rode as well, each seat had a different experience.
Oh, definitely.
And to be honest, our favourite was the back because it felt much more intense.
So those back seats actually face the other way. So if you get a chance to go in the back row, amazing, because it is a totally different experience. And as you said, each seat has a different experience to it, which is a testament to how that coaster is made.
And we enjoyed it that much, we rode it 10 times.
10 bloody times. There were some brilliant Easter eggs that you pointed out to me.
So we noticed near Mandrill Mayhem there's 2 petrol pumps. So one of which says 2017 and the other says 2019. Well, that is the latest Jumanji movies.
Yeah, so a little Easter egg there. Then you have there's a poster that's about a Jeep, is it?
About a Jeep, yes. But for us coaster enthusiasts, it's obviously a nod to the Jumanji ride at Gardaland, which we'll be going to later on this year.
Yeah, and it would be good to see the differences between obviously a whole land compared to a singular ride that they've got. So it's just comparing both and having that Easter egg there. It was great for us enthusiasts. We have a Jeep in the actual queue line, which has a number plate, which has Genesis on it, which was the original project name for this ride.
Yes.
So lovely little Easter eggs. And throughout it all, there's that etching on the side.
Yes, so it says Alan Parrish was here, and that was obviously a nod to the late, great Robin Williams.
And I think just all those little details add to the experience.
And the whole land as well, what I love, it's themed to a Jumanji board game. So all the little walkthroughs that you could do, all the little statues, amazing.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And I also loved as well the fact that there's loads of challenges around the area.
Yeah.
So the dreaded bin snake, as we call it. So yeah.
People, if you're going to go there and you're going to put your hand in that barrel,
don't put your rubbish in there.
We found numerous Coke bottles in there. There was a bin right next to it. And what's brilliant is when you come out of the queue line, there's an outside market feel to it.
Yes, like
a
a
bazaar, which is brilliant. It just adds to everything. It's all even dug down, you said, isn't it?
Yes, it's dug down, so you can't really see the rest of the theme park. And it's going to look even better when all the landscaping actually grows. You're going to feel like you're in the wilderness.
Oh, definitely. There's obviously the trees and stuff that are young. So once they've started growing, it's going to look like you're in a completely different world and you're going to be in that world of Jumanji. And it just gets us excited for, you know what I'm going to talk about here, isn't it? Project Exodus, obviously.
Yes.
Come on, if they're doing the theming this well for Alton Manor and now for Jumanji, I think they are going to smash it out of the gates with Exodus.
And obviously Project Horizon as
Project
well.
Horizon. Yeah. In this part of the park as well, they do have themed food. We did try out one of the cupcakes, which had a bloody gummy worm on it, and instead of me choking on it, it was Kaylin. So the dreaded curse of the gummy worm continues.
So which one have you got first? Do you want to just tell people before you bite into it?
I don't know what I even got. It was just the one with a snake or one with something else, she said.
Gummy worm, oh god. You know the history with a gummy worm?
There was a gummy worm.
There was a bit damage.
Right, you need to put that in the bin.
Let's hope next time we go to a bloody theme park that it doesn't happen again. But they also have other food on offer as well.
Although tempting, the giant turkey leg just wasn't worth the whopping £14.
£14 for a turkey leg.
Oh.
But saying that, I could have probably filled both of us.
Yes, but £14, man, come on.
But it's too expensive. As is in every single Merlin park at the moment, the food is really, really expensive.
So overall, the world of Jumanji was truly a complete package. We have 3 brand new rides, one amazing family thrill coaster, beautiful theming, and it really just transported you into the wilderness.
And there's something that we forgot to say actually. There is virtual queuing for Mandrill Mayhem. Just to let everybody know that wants to visit and wants to ride that brilliant coaster. The virtual queuing, what we experienced was really good and worked well and got that queue down as fast as possible. So,
and to be honest, I think they should implement it in things like Dragon's Fury.
Things that have bigger queues,
Yes, definitely. Like, you can see virtual queuing in things like Disneyland Paris and things like that. It does work when used well. So yeah, I think it could be a really beneficial thing for Chessington.
Definitely. So virtual queuing, even though it sounded daunting at first,
Gets a thumbs up from us.
definitely.
We didn't just get to spend our time in Chessington alone. We did come across a few friendly faces. So Oscar's Airtime, Anxious Rider, Coaster Chicken, Coaster Hen, and Coaster Capturer, Mrs. Coaster Capturer, and that's just to name a few. We love seeing everybody around the parks and giving each other a wave. It really brightens our day.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully for the future we can go and visit our home park in Oakwood or something together, or even some other openings, because this is a busy, busy time to be an enthusiast.
Yes.
Especially with Nemesis Retrack, Project Exodus, Project Horizon, all of these different things.
I can't keep up.
And even things like Ghost Train and Subterra now opening as well. So hopefully we get to see your friendly faces again. And if you recognise us in the parks, give us a little wave, say hi to us.
And if not, join us on our lovely channel.
So remember to like, subscribe and comment, and let us know if you actually went to the opening of World of Jumanji and what you thought of everything that it had to offer.
So I've been Kaylin.
And I've been Johnny.
From Hangtime Horror.
And remember guys,
Stay spooky.
Bye!